Hey everyone. All right, so we've been talking about process improvements for quite a while now. I've done a number of videos between Lean and Six Sigma on the different methods and tools that you can use to look for small or big improvements. And of course, some of these methods, some of these tools are easy to complicated. But one thing that a business should not do, I think, at least in most cases, is tie the employees' hands on how they're going to handle improvements. Now, again, it depends on the sector. Um, some sectors may have certain requirements that need certain individuals involved, certain knowledge and training. But we all start somewhere. We all have to learn at some point, right? Not every improvement has to be this huge, complicated puzzle to work out. So companies shouldn't, and I think, tie them to using only one method, one tool. And I've seen that happen. I've seen lots of companies that don't even do process improvements. They don't even know what that is because a lot of companies I have interacted with don't even have quality. So who does the improvements? Who documents it? Maybe the engineers that work in the company. But process improvements should be a positive thing. And again, I've seen it oftentimes where process improvements are kind of treated like headhunting. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be ways of finding things to make our lives easier. Now, another thing that I've seen, I've heard, I've witnessed is it's not really an improvement if it doesn't positively affect your customer and or client. Now, yes, most improvements, especially from the Lean and Six Sigma world, should be geared towards your customer requirements. But there may be times where you do something internally that improves what you do. It may indirectly impact your customer and or client, but just because it is internal and only affects a functional area within the company doesn't mean it's not an improvement. And it shouldn't be just tossed aside because it doesn't directly impact the customer and our client. It's an improvement. And we should be looking at ways to make things easier, faster, error-free. Automation is a big part of that. And if a company has the resources to either design systems or go to a third party for automation systems, great. There's other things that you can do if you don't have that resource. But looking at ways to make your life easier through automation, so you don't have to hand punch in information or reducing errors that could happen that could impact your customer and or client in a negative way. Those are all improvements. They don't have to be massive improvements. It can be small. It can be automating a form. So I just wanted to put that out there because I haven't done all these videos on Lean and Six Sigma and different things you can look at in your workplace and how to capture it and all this stuff. It should be a positive thing that any employee can be involved in. You could be at the low level in the quality world, so to speak. Where I was talking Six Sigma and white belt, yellow belt, green, black, and so forth. We all start somewhere and learn and progress as we go. Having the smart people in the room is important, but having others in there to learn and to give ideas is also a positive that people need to take into consideration. And again, don't tie the hands of folks to only one method, one tool, when there's a ton of tools out there that you can use to document improvements, right? And don't think that because you have decades of experience in quality that this person's opinion doesn't matter, right? There's plenty of folks out there and plenty of fields that have a ton of experience. There's always someone more experienced than someone else. I worked in postal for many years before I moved full-time to quality. I had ingrained quality in what I did in postal. I did a ton of improvements. I had quality control part of it. I did it for years. But I know someone who's been doing postal longer than I've been alive. So even though I knew a ton of stuff in postal, there's always someone that's been around longer. Just like quality. I might have been doing this for a dozen years, but there's tons of people out there that have been doing it for 30, 40 years. Right? So take in other people's opinions and thoughts. You'd be surprised what they may have to use. All right? Don't always think you know everything and you're the smartest person in the room. You may be, possibly, but there could be someone out there that knows as much or more that you're not aware of. Right? So keep an open mind. Just saying.